Hi, so today I'm going to give you some really quick and dirty inking tips. Hi, my name is Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist in the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. So today I'm going to be talking very quickly and in a very rough, quick and dirty way about giving you some advice on inking tips. Okay, so one of the things that, so this video is a snippet or a chunk, a very small chunk from a much larger video that I recorded for someone who who I was coaching. None of the personal stuff is in it, but it gave rise to some questions about inking and edges and all this other stuff. So I tried to give the person some really quick advice about inking. So one of the very first things I do is like outside of this video, I just kind of cut out that stuff because it had a lot of his personal work and I didn't want to put that in here. But I talk about a book. This is the book. It's called Rendering in Pen and Ink by Arthur L. Gulptil. It has a lot, and I mean a lot of advice on inking. I highly recommend getting this book because it basically tells you all the things, right? All the things when it comes to inking. It's a fantastic, absolutely fantastic book. I highly recommend it. But that's at the beginning of the video, I talk about a book. That's the book I'm talking about. So and then if you have that book and it helps, then I also, on top of that, the advice in this video will also kind of add to it, make it a little bit more comic book friendlier. Again, it's very sloppy. The artwork isn't like perfect and awesome. I was just giving general tips on inking and what to look for and how, but I wasn't trying to be perfect. That wasn't the point of this. Okay, so that's the intro. Let's get on with the video. Kind of like the comic book thing, and like I said, the pen and ink thing in that book. You've got the typical lines, and then you've got the cross hatching ones, and so it teaches you that stuff. But when it comes to and that's what this stuff is. The what's his inker's name? I forgot. That's what it teaches you how to do these lines and why these lines are there. But that video that I did about shading, I talk about the edges. I talk about firm edge, soft edge, lost edge, and hard edge. And I could see from what you're doing that you understand that sort of thing. So so it's kind of like cell shading. So when you're approaching anything, right? And this is kind of the way I explained it in the video, I believe. What we're essentially doing when we are inking wow, this is a big file. That's not what I intended. I'm going to save it just in case I get a crash. What we're basically doing when we are inking and shading is we're still following the same kind of formula, right? So we're still looking for the terminator, the areas, especially when you're doing comic book stuff. You're looking for the simplest statement you can find. You're looking for the binary statement. Light and dark, black and white. So you're looking for, this is absolutely where shadow is, where the shadow begins. Whoops. Let me get the, go back to the red here. This is absolutely where the shadow begins. And again, what the blazes? There. Shadow begins, so like cell shaded, right? You draw the shadow shape. So that's where the, oh, and then let's do this for the firm edge. So you do the cell shading thing where this is black and then you do the edges. Now, depending on the type of form, you'll do different things and you'll do different techniques. So there's a lot of different techniques here. A lot of them you can learn from that book, but I'm going to show you some of the common comic book, the ideas behind some of the comic, like feathering and you know, the feathering technique. So that's like inking, right? So first we see this thing, and then we go, okay, we're inking. I'll just do all of them. I'm being sloppy. All right, so we're halfway there. And then we have to give some of this stuff an edge. So there's a few ways we could do this. For example, here we can go, and now this is a soft edge. So there's a gradual, so that would be a soft edge. Another way of doing a soft edge would be like the feathering technique. The idea here is to, with the line, you describe the form. So you kind of want this to kind of wrap around. It turns here and it wraps around. But here on the bottom, you need the lines at the bottom to get thicker. You want thickness down here to these lines so that the thick down here, and then the thinner it goes out. Thick. I mean, I did it really, really fast. But the better you are at inking, then the better you're going to be at getting that look. So that's a soft edge. Again, remember the way that, so that's these two are techniques to doing a soft edge. You could do very much the same thing here if you want to do a firm edge, except the soft edge, of course, goes as far as you can go. You could do a long soft, right? Firm edge, you could do it smaller. This is more of a small. So this is a firm edge. And this is like a symbol of a firm edge. It's also a symbol of a soft edge. So you do that. And then there's a hard edge. Okay, so and then there's, you know, this is fading as it gets further away. And then there's, of course, the highlight. Like there's a highlight coming into the shadow. You could do it here too. The highlight doesn't look good. Let me try it again. There we go. And then there is a complex light, and that would be, let me do it on here, that maybe this is a completely different light source. And now we're being lit from two light sources. So this has a complex side and this has a simple side. So you could do that. But what if this it was like a muscle or something? Well, usually you don't want to add any more complexity. But you can. But you usually don't want to. And this is a pencil tool, not the brush, the pen tool. You usually don't want to add two sides of complexity because now they have competing sides. But so usually what you do is if you have like a huge other secondary light source, and you're going to see this in Adam Hughes and things like that, where one side has all the rendering or all the edges, and then the other side is just it's just like a cell shaded shapes, like it's just very direct, and that's like the secondary light source coming in. So the idea is so say you have an arm. And you want to shade it so the light's coming from over here on this side. what you'd do is you'd find in your you'd you'd look for I should use the pencil tool just so that I can so you can distinguish here, but you'd look for the boxes, the shapes, the construction right here. And then this, kind of like that Bridgman study that you were doing, because this is a box, this is shading. So this is a box. This is a, so in Bridgman terms, it would be box, box, and then you would shade it based off of these like that, right? But since it's organic, you'll have all these soft edges, and so it might be more confusing. So now you come in and you go, okay, Terminator. The Terminator's here. Oops. And then you would go, okay, so and then you would go in and I think some of this stuff is not quite right. This line is in the way. It's making it look weird. Let's do this instead. There we go. And then we try to define this as this is not organic looking enough for me. Here we go. So this is a firm edge here. This is a soft. And have some variety, so that's not right. It should be like this. And by have some variety, I mean don't put too many soft edges next to each other. There's another firm edge. And then maybe there's a secondary shadow that follows the exact same kind of logic. And then you've got a comic book shaded thing. So there's variety. So we're adding firm edges, mostly here, but we're not doing it in every single little bit. I'm leaving some here so that there's hard edges. I'm only doing it over here so there isn't, it's not all one note. It's okay to be one note here because it's a secondary light source that's lighting into the shadow. But here, where we're actually trying to describe the forms, we're and then here's, oops, another firm edge. So we're not doing all one note. Maybe there's a shadow in here. Here's the peck. Here's the okay. So it's the same principles. It's just different techniques. Firm edge, soft edge, lost edges. Lost edges would be where all the muscles and all that stuff would be in here, and you just wouldn't see it. It would all go in here into the blackness, right? And there's all kinds of muscles and things, but you can't really see them because they're lost in there. So those are the ideas. We're still using soft edges, firm edges, hard edges, and lost edges. It's just the techniques are different for the execution. So, and that comes with understanding how to that just comes with understanding inking techniques as opposed to pencil techniques. It's how to interpret the same thing, how to make a firm edge with ink as opposed to firm edge with pencil. So I'm happy to announce that I now have a new drawing lesson called Drafu Guide to Sketching and Gesture Foundations. It's the beginning of the level 2 information that people have been asking me for the drawing website, which will teach you where to start drawing, what to draw when you draw, how to draw from observation, how to draw from imagination, how to draw what you envision, and how to discover what you ought to envision if you don't have anything specific in mind. So if you find any of this interesting, you could follow the link that you see, or you can go to thedrawingwebsite.com, look under level 2, and you'll find a link there.